Welcome to Champagne Problems Podcast. I am your host, Robbie Shaw. Join us as we explore mental and emotional well-being, physical optimization, and the journey to discovering your highest self. Champagne Problems is brought to you in proud partnership with Bond Buzz, the alcohol-free social spirit. Bond Buzz is an award-winning alcohol-free functional beverage company creating adult drinks that are health-forward, all-natural, and uncompromising. They're on a mission to create a future where feeling good and getting buzzed exist in absolute harmony and not at the expense of your health. Their bold concoctions offer focus and energy while calming the nervous system for a night on the town or a productive afternoon. Bond Buzz uses only natural ingredients and a hyper-functional blend of nootropics, adaptogens, and functional mushrooms to amplify the sensory experience. If you're looking for a drink to help you cool off after work or a drink to stimulate your mind and body without the harmful, icky hangovers, drink Bond Buzz for good days only. Carson Clough, welcome to Champagne Problems.
Stoked to be here.
I know you are, dude. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. We were talking the other day, and I was kind of sharing that I used to live a house down from you. This was 7 years ago, or 8 years ago. So you were likely in college then. Is that right?
So, yeah, I would have been either right out of college and in grad school. I was either in Chapel Hill or Florida.
I didn't know you went to grad school.
Yep, down in Florida, Florida Tech. I got my master's in surfing. That's why I got my tank top and bathing suit on.
You have a master's in surfing.
That's what I call it.
Got it.
It was supposed to be
right over my head.
It was supposed to be an MBA, but I'm not sure if I did more surfing or business.
Understood. Got it. Flew over my head. I was like, "No, what the hell is this?" That's amazing. I mean, I actually remember meeting you when I lived there. Just in passing, because I did know your folks, just a door down. Anyway, great to connect again. I like to start my conversations with my guests with some rapid fire.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. First live music concert and where?
Oh gosh, rapid fire. I got too much ADHD for this. First live music was probably some country
memorable.
Probably some country concert. The most memorable first one-legged live music was camp at Neighborhood Theater, and they're actually some buddies of mine. Prior to, they came by the Giddy Goat, had some empanadas, no lie, and then we went to the Blind Pig with them afterwards.
You said they're buddies of yours?
Yeah.
How'd you meet them?
So one of my roommates in college grew up and went to high school with them in Ohio.
I saw them at Red Rocks.
Heck yeah. Emily may have been there for that.
It was raining the whole time. Wow. Crazy. That's a good one. Good one. First one-legged, you said.
First one-legged.
Got it. We haven't told our audience that you actually only have one leg, but we'll get into that.
Okay. Sorry to spoil the surprise.
Like, what the hell does that mean? All right. Favorite smell?
Roasted coffee.
That does make sense. Least favorite smell?
My own. Especially after working out as much as I've been.
I don't know if I love yours either. Do you read?
I'm still learning.
Yeah, it's tough. I've gotten the numbers down, but not the letters. I would ask what book you're reading right now, and if you're not reading a book, what do you read?
I'm not reading a book, and I really don't read. Trying to do audiobooks. Last audiobook I did was, I don't remember the name of it, but lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Anthony Kiedis?
Yep. What's his book? Is it Scar
Tissue? But
Tissue?
it should be Under the Bridge or something like
Maybe
that.
Scar Tissue or something, but actually finished the audiobook on a long bike ride right before I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers here. What was that, 1-2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty awesome, but still trying to find my rhythm in reading and audiobooks.
Yeah, I don't read, but I do listen to books occasionally. People often ask what my favorite podcast is. I don't listen to them. I have a podcast production company that I'm trying to scale across the country, and I don't listen to podcasts.
Well, there's There's a lot of them.
There are a lot. It's hard to choose. This one's decent. If you could know the answer to any question, what would you ask?
Why was I not born at the beach?
I bet we could find that answer out. But we'll leave it a mystery. Awesome. Sounds great. Let's do a short and quick. Who is Carson Clough prior to life-changing event? So where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school? What were you like in your younger years, like junior high, high school? Where'd you go to college?
All right. Born and raised in Charlotte. Went to elementary, middle, high school at Charlotte. 2 years I went to Macaulay School in Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. I played tons of sports, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, basketball. I tried t-ball. All I would hit was the tee and then play with the bugs in the field. So I graduated from that pretty quickly. Enjoyed, going to the beach, just doing anything active. If I wasn't active, I was most likely asleep. And that still carries on to this day. If I'm sitting down or I'm relaxed, I'm probably just sleeping. I was a scholar, in my own words. I studied hard, but loved science, was not good at history. We already discussed reading is definitely not my strong suit.
Yeah.
I got extra time on the SAT because of that. So I'll take it.
ADHD.
They wanted to prescribe me some massive amounts of
cocaine. Yeah.
Whatever that is in the pill for.
Right. It's meth.
Luckily, I turned it down. Went to UNC Chapel Hill for undergrad, studied biology, and business entrepreneurship, chemistry. I played lacrosse there my freshman year, and then just continued being a scholar the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Or one of my high school coaches called me up one day and was like, I know you don't want to get a job. Why don't you look at using the rest of your eligibility to go to grad school? And I didn't want to get a job, but I also didn't want to do school anymore. And I was, I'd played a lot of lacrosse. I was ready for the new adventure, but I found a school called Florida Tech in Melbourne where I could surf and continue my education. And for about a year and a half, had a great time, and then came back to Charlotte, and that's when the adventure began.
Yeah.
So there were some pre-adventures.
Yeah. So big surfer?
I was. I was not as good as I wanted to be, but I loved it. Especially, one of my last international trips was in Costa Rica with my dad and brother. And that was just like, it was yoga, fresh fish, and surfing, and coffee. And that's...
And
smoothies. Yeah. And so that was a blast, and not doing it as much these days, but we'll get back into it here soon.
Do you not do it now because of the training? I mean, obviously, what was the learning curve with one leg?
Basically, it's the training. I just don't get the time at the beach that I used to, just being here working and training. But the learning curve right now, it's not as big of a learning curve. It's more of a device curve. So my prosthetic is not built for staying on in the water. And that's like the one big thing. If you were to ask me, what is the most frustrating part of your one-legged life? It is the fact that when I go surfing, I have to worry about my leg falling off and catching it. Because, there's $20,000 in the ocean.
Yeah.
That is a bad day.
Oh,
So I have had it where I've jumped off and grabbed it, and then I just get frustrated. So it's not the actual act of surfing, it's the gear. But I couldn't get mad at it because I didn't invest the time or money into it. So when the triathlon adventure simmers down a little bit, we'll get back to the surfing adventure.
Is there a specific prosthetic for surfing?
Yeah, they have things where they make it so that it's a lock and pin on the bottom of my nub.
Okay.
And, it won't fall off randomly. Right. Whereas right now I have suction, which is perfect for the lifestyle I live right this second, but not the beach lifestyle.
Got it. I want to go back to ADHD because I think it's fascinating, not because I want to expose anything. I just think it's a fascinating thing. In fact, I just interviewed, I told you I interviewed some guys or a husband and wife. The husband has pretty moderate levels of it and then ended up writing a book about it called ADHD is Awesome. And it's just a really kind of funny, entertaining, but also very scientific layman's, version. But it's really about it being a superpower and how, society has always done what it does with it, man. You act like something's wrong with you as opposed to this is just a different way of how brains work. And often if you utilize it and cultivate it, it can be a superpower.
Right.
How was that for you? I mean, you're a self-proclaimed scholar. It sounds like you are a bright guy that enjoys learning.
I love learning. Self-proclaimed scholar, not in the ways that you think of scholar.
Sure. I figured there was a little sarcasm in there.
But no, I still struggle with reading. Now, let's say I get a chance to lay down in bed and read before I go to sleep. I don't know if it's my reading problem or my lack of sleep or just overall tiredness that I fall asleep in the first page.
Right.
So, I can't blame it on the reading too much there. But when I was growing up, I mean, I would read a paragraph and you ask me what happened in that paragraph. And I'd be like, well, let's go back and check. I also, one of my best skills in life is I can watch a movie and at the end of it, not have any idea what happened.
That's a good skill.
So I can watch movies. A lot of effort. I can watch movies over and over and over again. I mean, I've watched the Titanic. It's my favorite movie.
Still don't know what happens.
Still don't know what happens.
It goes down.
But I definitely had ADHD. I was not interested in the options they offered to help with ADHD. They offered prescription meds. And for me, I got tested because when I was taking the SAT, I couldn't read fast enough. So I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm sharing that, but either way, I didn't do great on it. I didn't do terrible on it. But I couldn't even get through half the reading section. To where I needed that little extra time.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've ever thought about it. Is ADHD a superpower for me? I think
has it ever helped you in some way?
I mean, it's got to, because I am so ADHD. I can tune people out really well.
Your girlfriend's chiming in.
Sometimes just go whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
But what would be an example that the guy you interviewed said where it was a superpower?
So I mean, hyperfocus. Like, obviously, there's the inability to focus in a certain way, but there's also the ability to focus in a very hyper way.
Okay, I think I have that. I mean, I will get like when I'm on the bike
training, right?
When I'm training and I have, Breaking Benjamin in my ears, and I'm looking for a certain power and speed. It doesn't matter what's in my way.
Yeah.
I'm going. So I would say I can get hyper-focused. Once my mind is set on it and I realize what the carrot is that I'm going after, I start hopping and I hop fast.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing's stopping you.
Right.
I think that's it. Like, specifically with challenging physically, more specifically, mental challenges, which often is associated with training and physical exertion. But the whole idea, and I know this just from various training I've done, but like when you have to go a long distance, the only thing that's working against you is your mind. This hurts, this sucks, I want to stop. The easiest thing to do is stop. I will get relief if I just slow down a little bit. But if you're able to tune those thoughts out in almost a hyper-focused way, I mean, David Goggins in this motherfucker.
Yeah, no, seriously.
So
he's got it.
He's a beast, right?
He's got it.
He might have he's got a few different gears in there, but
screws loose. I think I was donated some of those from my parents as well.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's shift. So let's go into the part that we're going to go into, the loss of your leg. I know you've told this story a time or two, but let's tell it again.
Yeah. So 2019 August, I was on Lake Norman and ended up both of my legs met the prop of my boat. Mm-hmm. I knew at the time that my right leg was, like, my right foot was gone. My left was actually severely mangled, but still there. And so right when it happened, I saw blood in the water. I knew it was go time, and it was just, what do I do? The first thing that I remember seeing was just like a picture of my mom, and then it was my whole family, and then the goal was set. All right, it would suck for someone to have to go say, man, Carson's toast because he got in a boat accident. There's so many more fun things that we could lose me to. So
that's not a bad one.
So I saw that, and the challenge was there. Get back to the boat. I had two people with me on the boat that, had they not been there, I would have bled out. We would have not gotten to the helicopter in time, or there's tons of different scenarios. So on the boat, called 911. We tied a tourniquet around my legs, got back to the dock, and there I just remember there were a bunch of lights. In my mind, it was 100 or so people, everybody just there to help me make sure that I go see mom and dad again. I right when I got off the boat, I strictly remember, and I don't know for sure, asking either Emily or one of the paramedics there, get me some I'd just been wake surfing. So I was wake surfing, fell off, legs met the boat, and so I was a little dehydrated. I don't remember if I got water or not, but that plays a role later in the story because I started cramping like crazy. Oh. But anyway, they get me to the ambulance, and one of the other distinct memories is the nurse, prior to her telling me to shut up. I was with it, and I was just cracking jokes. They were writing all the medicines that we have that they put in my body on my arm. And I saw fentanyl in there. And, that in 2019, there was a lot going on with fentanyl being mixed with other drugs, people selling it, all sorts of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I looked at the nurse and I was like, again, please don't kill me with fentanyl. There's got to be something else. And she's like, Carson, she's laughing. And then she's like, Carson, just shut up. I know what I'm doing. And I was like, all right. So I didn't really shut up. I just continued the conversation in a different direction. Got me to the fire station on the point and airlifted me to CMC Maine. I had a huge IT band cramp where I basically was asking the guy driving the helicopter to put down the wheel and come back and massage my IT band because that was the only pain I was feeling.
What the fuck?
He couldn't do that. So to make time pass by, I decided to look around Charlotte. And that wasn't allowed either. I had let Carson lay back down. So I was just bugging people, which is one of my skills. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, I'm at CMC Maine and get a chance to see my mom, which was, quite the moment. She's a strong woman and, was holding back some stuff. And I just looked at her and was like, Mom, I'm here. I'm all right. And she was like, yes, you are. So next thing you know, I'm taken into surgery and I'm out for the rest of the night. So it probably happened around 7:30. I probably got to CMC Maine around 9. I mean, I really have no idea. But woke up and thus began my one-legged life. And I celebrate Halloween every day.
Is that the day?
I'm your local Charlotte Pirate.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. How do you have an IT band cramp?
And
Was your IT band not cut?
It was definitely
Or was it
cut.
on that leg?
It was on this leg.
Uh-huh.
I know I was pointing to this one, but it was definitely on this leg.
So that makes more sense.
I'm not sure where it reattaches, but when I looked up in the helicopter, you didn't see any feet. This foot was dangling to the side.
Yeah.
So
the other one
was
gone.
toast. Still in Lake Norman.
Got it.
So it's catfish.
Fish food, yeah.
Catfish has it in its mouth every time he digests a little bit. It tickles my nub.
Yeah. I get it. Oh man! All right. Well, thank you for telling that story. That I know that's not as grueling for you anymore, but that's hard to hear for sure. Especially the mom stuff. Man. All right. So, why in the world are you so comfortable under trauma?
I don't know. One of the things I told a few people after it happened was I've been kind of blessed with everything. My parents put me through private school, gave me any opportunity to do whatever I wanted as long as I, committed and followed through with it. And so I think any type of challenge that I got, I just knew I was spoiled. So I see the world and not everyone gets what I get. So any challenge I wanted to tackle and pretty much prove to myself that even though I'm spoiled, I can still, take on a challenge. And I don't think this is not the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Probably won't be one of the top things. I still got, hopefully, a good long life. I say 49's my date. I don't know. I may live past that. I'm pretty healthy these days.
49?
That's I don't know where that comes from. But
it's another year for me, pal.
Yeah. We'll forget that number. But I it was one of those things where it is what it is. It was not going to grow back no matter what I sprinkled on there. And it was a challenge that I was just, I didn't even really think about the negatives of it. It was pretty much tunnel vision on, I don't have a leg and I'm going to be able to get a fake leg. Now I have to learn how to walk in it. And that's what it was. So I just simplified it. There was a lot more people, or there were people that had way more difficult situations than myself. And the best way that I knew to help them was show that, this doesn't affect me. So
you know how rare you are? Do you know that?
I really don't. Henry's helping me. Henry and Christian and Emily are helping me realize it, but
you are, because you essentially live in gratitude. Fucking nobody does that. Like, people try. You do it. Like, the fact that you know what you've got and how fortunate you are despite losing a leg, that's the automatic, it's like your default. That is rare. Kudos to you, man.
Well, I appreciate it, but it's, for me, from my eyes, it's easy.
It's just you, right? I get it, but that's it's very admirable. I wonder, and I would be very curious to know, and I don't mean to keep going back to ADHD, but if that played a role in kind of that ability to, all right, here it is, focus, bam. Things aren't gonna come into play and kind of dance around and affect me and cause sadness or anger or guilt or blame. You just this is it. Here we go.
It is interesting. I have no idea. But it's definitely now that I kind of, it's kind of cool to think about ADHD as this heroic quality. So I may have to look into it a little bit more.
Yeah,
But
do a part 2.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I wanted to ask about grief, and I kind of already know the answer. I mean, I know that maybe you've had tough days. I mean, obviously you have, but it's probably not so much in the space of the traditional trajectory of grief.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a grief period. I knew that what I had to do was make sure, like probably what I've done multiple times on this podcast, is make sure I don't say the wrong thing to someone, understand that people are different than me and that I do have to allow this grief period that people talk about. But I did help guide some people on, the allotted time that they can have, because it was, yes, you can have your time to grieve, but then it's time to, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
We got things to do. We got business to build, parties to go to, beaches to go see. So, but I do understand others had it, and I was there to support them. But I just don't distinctly remember, never a time where I'm staying up late thinking, why this happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if anything, I'm glad Mother Nature chose me that day, because I don't know if it's my mom or dad gave me the loose screws. I know both of them passed on a few loose bolts, but it was just a challenge. I think I was ready to take on, and definitely looking back on it now, it's easier to say now, but I'm pretty fortunate for how it played out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll keep taking the doors that it's opened, and
Cup half full.
Yeah.
I do want to ask if you had any kind of conscious effort or intentionality around accepting a new identity for yourself. Yeah, I mean, you call yourself peg leg, you call yourself one leg, like you take it on with a little bit of humor and lightheartedness, but you are now, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're not different. You're still Carson Clough.
I would say I'm not really different. I just have one more thing to talk about. Some of my best buds still say I'm annoying as hell. Now I'm, they thought it would slow me down a little bit, but unfortunately, it kind of sped me up for them. So, it's in terms of a new identity. I think if I take on a new identity, it wouldn't be a visual identity. I think I have, through the adventure and through this, ability to not understand everything, how maybe others process it in a more positive way, I can now take on this identity to try and share. And I think that's something, that is the one thing that I've felt kind of come naturally, where if I hear of another person that has gone through a traumatic event, or specifically, an amputation, everything else in me kind of shuts down, in terms of most of the day I'm thinking about what work do I have to do, what training do I have to do, and when am I going to be able to get to bed. But when a conversation comes up where I think I can be of some help, I think that's an identity that I'm excited to take on. It's not going to happen right this second, in terms of what I would like to do on a grander scale, but it is definitely something I'm excited about. And I think that's more of the new serious identity. Yeah. The unserious identity is, I'm a Halloween costume and I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, you can blend the two for sure. It might make the more serious one more effective.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And I know you haven't, made it concrete yet, but is it like helping individuals, helping groups, or more motivational, kind of speaking, inspirational stuff?
I think I would like to do all three of those.
Gotcha.
Just something where it's natural for me. It's not, I don't want to put myself in a forced scenario because, these guys can tell you if it's something that I'm forced, it's really easy to tell that it's not natural.
That is not genuine.
We're trying to get me to make some reels these days. It's there's been some funny
not
takes.
very good, huh?
There's been some funny takes. So everybody's starting to realize how to explain to me how to do it, and it's not, they got to. Maybe that's another skill with they're taking advantage of my ADHD, and that's how it's working. But if they tell me to focus, then I don't. Then I don't focus.
Right.
I would love to just be able to share and figure out how the best way to share what I felt or what my mindset was, and be able to help somebody find their own mindset.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a challenge in itself, which that's maybe what I like about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting because you do have a unique brain makeup, that likely served you in this situation. And there's many people that don't have that. And so it's going to be harder for them. And so I'm just thinking out loud with you, but like, how do you figure out how to kind of, here's what I did. I understand that that's not the same for you.
Yeah.
But
that is going, I've thought about that. That is going to be a challenge, but there's going to be a way around it.
Definitely. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is more inspirational in the sense of, when you think about a Goggins, like I'm not like Goggins, but when I listen to him, I want to be like him and I strive to be like him. Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
How long was kind of rehab to the point where you could exert yourself physically?
So I escaped from the hospital in 9 days.
Right. All right.
I wheeled out of the hospital onto Lombardi Circle, right back onto my couch.
Did you really by yourself do that? Or
no, I had some team. We had a boom box involved. Yeah. They, when you check out of the hospital, they like to make sure a few things are in line.
They do.
Especially in my scenario.
Make sure your IVs are out. Yeah.
I could have, though. Looking back on it, maybe I should have just taken off. But
made a great story.
They said, Carson, you're going to be in here for 30 plus days.
Really?
We have no idea how many surgeries you're going to have to go through.
Oh, wow.
They suggested double amputation at first.
Wow.
My amputated side was actually much easier, much faster to heal than my left leg. This had an external fixator, which is basically metal scaffolding to allow my leg to heal and grow back together. I had to grow some bone back, so I lost about 2 inches of my tibia. So I used to be like 6'2". Now I'm 5'10", so I guess it's 4 inches.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
No. I was maybe
that was
6
actually
foot.
shorter.
Yeah.
They added some.
But the external fixator, what they did was they cut my tibia at the top, pushed it down so it could start to heal, and then on this metal scaffolding, I could twist it. Every day I would have to twist it 3 ticks so that it slowly stretched apart.
Oh my God.
And so the bone would fill in and grow back.
Yeah.
Technically, I could have been as tall as I wanted.
Yeah,
because they
kept stretching it.
They could have made the prosthetic whatever size the left leg. My fibula ended up fusing, and so the doctors asked, do you want us to go in, another surgery, unfuse it so you can get back to your normal height or taller?
Yeah.
And in middle school, it would have been great to be 6 foot, but I was just like, let's get out of here.
We'll cap it.
So a month, I wheeled home in 9 days, which was awesome. My nurses and surgeons and everything was great, but I was ready to just get out of the hospital. That was the first goal, get out of the hospital, and then figure out what the next goals were. Grew up on Lombardi right next to Freedom Park. So Freedom Park was my rehab. I would go there pretty much every day, if not multiple times a day, wheel around the pond. And then after a month, I got my first prosthetic and a walker. And then it was just see each day how many steps I can take. Let's get to the front door. Then let's get out of the front door, and so on. And then I went to a party in Tybee Island for New Year's. So I was on crutches at this point, January 1st, got rid of the crutches, and there was still some butt scooting going on. You know, the stairs, little butt scoot up. Mm-hmm. But from then on, it was just heel. That was right when 2020 happened. I did get a few infections from internal stitches, which is the biggest concern with all of this, is because you can have an infection go, you know, I'm a below the knee right amputee. As soon as an infection gets to the knee, you know, if it gets bad enough, there goes the knee.
Got it.
Once the infection's kind of healed, then it was kind of keep going. I got right back to work. Was at the time helping start up the Giddy Goat coffee roasters, and I still, from day one, I woke up in the hospital, and my business partner Ryan, who owns it, he was like, "Hey, well, our offer on the building got accepted." So we were already starting off positive. We just had to get it built, get through a little COVID times, and so it was business, you know, learning how to walk and just keep moving forward.
Got it. So you start learning how to exercise. Obviously, I mean, you're a physical guy. You play a bunch of sports. You do a lot of different things physically. So obviously, that's kind of probably one of the first things you're trying to get back to, is that. And what can you do? And now, you know, are there limitations, and what that looks like? So why and how triathlons first, and then why and how to the level you are now?
Well, wheelchair tennis was first.
Got it.
And we won't ask Emily how many times she lost to someone in a wheelchair, because that's not fair for me to even say it. And then we definitely can't ask my little brother, who thinks he's an athlete, and he's losing to me in a wheelchair on the tennis court. Are you freaking kidding me?
Did you say that a lot? Like you lost to a guy in a wheelchair?
Oh my, every day.
That's offensive.
Oh, every single day. I'm like, Cole, are you kidding me?
Oh, that's funny.
So serious time.
Yeah.
The triathlon, it started beginning of 2022. Prior to 2022, I'd spent my whole life thinking anyone who did a triathlon was crazy, and why would you ever do that sport? What got me into it was I got an email, and it had Team USA at the top. It had the Olympic, and it had the Paralympic rings. I had no idea what the Paralympic rings were. You know, right when my accident happened, I didn't know a single amputee. Mm-hmm. So that was a new world, but I saw Team USA, and the fact that I even got the email as a chance to represent, you know, my country fired me up. And I should have looked into a little more details on what triathlon entailed before I responded.
Why do you get an email around that?
That is the big question. I have no idea. I was doing a fundraiser for the Navy SEAL Foundation in an event called the Tampa Bay Frogman Swim, where me and my general manager at the shop and first swim coach, we went down to Tampa, and he was going to swim across Tampa Bay, and I was going to kayak for him. And I did the practice swim, and there were other amputees there. And I did it with my leg on, which you're not supposed to do because it's basically like carrying a weight. Yeah. You're not kicking with it. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think somebody was like, this guy's dumb enough to want to do a triathlon. And so there's no telling how my email got put onto this list. It was a mass email. Send us your 200 meter swim time, your 1K run time. I hadn't been in a lap pool since middle school. I had not run for time at all in my one-legged life. And really in my two-legged life, I ran a lot because all the sports, and I ran sprints a lot because most of the time the lacrosse team was in trouble for something. So,
yeah.
I sent them the times. They flew me out to Colorado Springs. And when I had the chance, when they said my times were good enough for them to take me to Colorado Springs, I was like, this is my chance to put on a USA jersey. And I started training, doing whatever I could. I got one of my friends, Tom, at the Dowd YMCA. He's a trainer there. He and his wife both train. Me and my mom were doing some of Minnie's classes, and then I would go to some of Tom's classes. And I went to him and I said, hey, I'm kind of keeping this a secret. You're the first person I'm telling, but besides Enzo, who helped me do the swim, but I'm getting this chance to go potentially wear a USA jersey. And will you just kick my ass for these next 3 weeks before I go out there? And he was stoked about the opportunity, and he almost put me to tears a few times. But, I got it. I went out there and I did well. The head coach of the Paralympic team in the past was there doing the testing and reached out to me and said, I will be your personal coach if you consider doing this. And, the first thing I said, which I have a few other points on when we get to the mental health side, but I was like, this was a great experience, but there was no part of this that was fun.
Yeah.
I went on the bike till my legs hurt, my heart hurt, my lungs hurt, my tears hurt. But I want to wear a USA jersey, and if you think I can go to the Paralympic level, that was never a thought in my mind in one-legged or two-legged life. So he said, I think you can do it, and I want to open up a spot to coach you. And I'm going to help guide you through it, get you the connections, the support you need to get started. I just dove head first, and it went from 0 to 1,000 quick.
Of course it did.
Quick.
God, again, I got to back up. Why you? But how did you jump from not doing it into like qualifying?
I've had supporters, whether it's emotionally, financially, family supporters supporting I get a badass dog, service dog from the Charlotte Checkers, Project to Heal. I've had people support me from minute one.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing where if people are spending their time thinking or doing things for me or those that are close to me, that motivates me.
Shout out to Kim.
Yeah. Heck yeah, Kim. Cold plunge at Kim's. Yeah. Seriously, Kim helped fly my sister home from Australia. She walks in the door. My mom's in tears. I'm like, Kim, what? The first thing I said, it's on video. I was like, you're dumb. Why are you here? But yeah, the support systems I've had goes back to me being spoiled. What did I do to deserve all this? Why do all these people care? Well, it's not why. It's okay. They're showing they care, so I gotta show them that here's why you care. And so I think about that. I qualified in March in Miami, and I had 25 people or so fly from all over the country to come watch me in a 1-hour race. Now, some of them, I did say, hey, look, you get to watch me, some college buddies, you get to watch me suffer for an hour. They were, raising their hands at coming. But I think about that in training. I thought about it in the race. And when I crossed the finish line, everybody wants to know, what was your thoughts? My thoughts were, I just had 25, 30 people travel around the country. I'm ready to go see them and celebrate.
Yeah.
It hit me when I came back that I was going to be a Paralympian and going to Paris. Didn't hit me super strong. I'm not a very emotional person.
No, I didn't figure that.
But I did realize now I get to focus on the big carrot as opposed to have some other things. But the support system I've had, that's what carries me through these adventures.
It makes sense. You live in gratitude.
Yeah, and I want, I need to I need to go on these adventures, whether, triathlon, whether I enjoy it or not, I know it's good for me. If I'm not doing that, if I'm not invested in something, whether you say it's a go big, go home, or you're ADHD because you're either not focused or you're hyper focused, I'm either not doing something or doing something 100%. And I need to push my efforts into positive things. 100% into not positive things is not good for anybody else.
No.
So that's the support system's strong. I feel it, and I'm just lucky. So I got to keep giving them reasons to support me and kind of believe in me.
That was good stuff there, man. God, what did you say? You said they keep showing support, so I got to keep showing them why. Make a little t-shirt out of that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just kind of build into, what's next. Obviously you've got a few more races. You've got some more training. I mean, the Olympics are in September, right?
Yep.
Is September, right?
So the Olympics is August. The Paralympics is September. My race, September 1st, in Paris. The city of Paris has done a phenomenal job. They're shutting down the whole city for us. I have one part where I ride my bike on the Champs-Élysées. All right.
Scholar over here.
There we go. We're on that cobblestone road, and then I'm looking at the Arc de Triomphe, do a UE. Next thing you know, I'm seeing the whole Eiffel Tower, going over bridges. So they've done a great job of putting us right in the heart of Paris.
Where's the swim?
In the Seine. That's how you pronounce it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. And there's a lot of talk about, is it going to be clean or dirty? It's going to be dirty.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to swim in
dirty.
it, then don't race. Like, give me the waiver. I'll sign it.
Yeah.
If I got a few days where me and the toilet are friends, then that's how it's going to be.
A couple of leeches. Who cares?
So in the Seine with the current one way against the current the other. And then some cobblestones for the bike. But it is, I did the Paris test event last year. I actually like to put on shows whenever my mom comes to races. And so I have this video of my mom filming me. I'm going right past her in a triathlon. You can only see but so much because we have to go a certain distance, so you can't keep up. And so I'm coming into transition 2 right before I get onto the run course. I'm in 3rd place. I'm not going to catch 1st and 2nd, unfortunately. But 4th, 5th is really not going to catch me until, I get so excited. My mom's cheering me on. I flip my bike right in front of all the fans. I don't know why I did it. I say that somebody hacked my bike, but it was probably user error. Biking's not my strong suit.
Yeah.
So I just decided to make it fun to run a 5K all bloody with, quick adrenaline rush. But I don't know where I was going with that. There's my ADHD.
That's all right.
But I did the Paris test event, and where they had it and what they're doing for viewers to be able to see it is phenomenal.
So the Paris test event, what is that?
That was a chance for Americans to qualify. So every country chooses how their athletes qualify to represent the country.
Got it.
Athletes, it's up to them to earn points to get within a certain range or certain ranking to be able to earn the country a spot. So for us specifically, we have to be within the top 9 in the world, and then we earn the country a spot. And then USA decides, okay, well, even if Carson earned that spot, now it's up to all the USA athletes to compete for that spot. So that's why I had to win the race in this past March to basically beat the other USA competitors who could have potentially taken that spot.
So the USA has how many spots?
For my category, only 1 right now.
And you're it.
And I'm it.
Dude.
we got 2 more races. I go to Wales on Monday for a race the following Saturday. Then I go straight to Montreal for a race the next Saturday. And Eric McElvaney, who was in the last Paralympics for my category, which is below the knee 4, he represented USA with Jamie Brown. Jamie's no longer racing, but if Eric gets a few podiums, then we're going to get him in. And I'm on team, bring as many people from USA as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Eric is a vet who lost his leg in Afghanistan and just reached out to me when I was new and gave me 10 years of tips and tricks in 2 weeks. And so, again, people that have supported me, it's not really me. I'm just, somebody thought I was crazy enough to dial in and be able to, there's been some hard work, but other than that, I got
light way of saying it. A little bit of work came with it.
I got a pretty phenomenal support staff. So, me and Eric are going to these races, and the goal is to definitely kick his ass. But
sure.
I want to bring him along.
He'll be right behind me.
Yeah. But he's been awesome. So
wow,
one spot now. We got 2 races. Hopefully, earn another spot. And by July 1st, the team is set. And then I'll move to Utah for a month to do altitude training. And then I move to France for a month to get acclimated, do some training over there, and then
Getting that dirty water.
Is
the altitude training just to train? It's not really because there's altitude where you'll be, or is there?
No, it's for training at altitude. And I don't know the exact science, so don't quote me, but I think I'm going to be able to develop more red blood cells so that I can absorb more oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
And the ideal scenario for any endurance athlete or any athlete is to be able to train at sea level and live at altitude, because you still develop the blood cells while you're sleeping and working. But when you train, you can go at the speeds with those extra red blood cells, the speeds that you can, your top speeds. That was kind of a bad way of explaining it. But so I'm going to live at altitude, put a little strain on my body. And then when I move to Vichy, I'm going to live in a room where they make it at altitude. So I'll sleep and work at altitude for 12 hours a day. And then the other 12 hours, I train at sea level.
Got it.
So they're getting all science and nerdy with me.
Seriously. Wow. All right. Well, that is insane. I feel like I need to be in Paris September 1st.
I think you need to be in Paris September 1st.
Pretty sure I'm going to be.
I mean, I think are we at 30 people that have already bought tickets? Seriously, I think there's maybe more than 30. I mean, so it's like...
Well, I know Kim will be there.
Yeah.
Kim and my wife are super tight. I don't see why not.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun.
I'm sure it will. So there's a documentary being made.
Yep.
On your journey.
Yep. Yep.
Feel free to give a little information there. We're looking at some of them right here behind the scenes.
So just very quickly, I had another Charlotte native and buddy of mine, Henry Davis, has approached me a couple of times about, looking into this journey of mine. He foresaw how it was going to turn out way before I did.
He's good like that.
But finally approached me and was like, we can do something cool here. And you're obviously blind to how you see things. So let me explain it to you and let me take this on. And he sold me on it. And so Christian's also here, and they are putting together or have already put together a team to travel around the world with me, catch family life, catch me and Calder life, catch races in Yokohama, Wales, Australia, Montreal, and then kind of help share the story in a way that maybe I wouldn't be able to share it myself or put it together myself.
Nor would you.
No, yeah. So it's going to be awesome. I'm going to have to let Henry do the selling beyond beyond that.
You don't have to sell it. It's you and your journey, and it sells itself, no question. Is there a title, or is that under wraps?
It's under wraps right now.
Got it. Enough said.
Yeah, you gotta. I could have just ruined that all.
Oh, we could have deleted it. All right, man. Carson Clough, I love you, man. I really appreciate you coming here. This has been. It's been everything. It's you've almost jerked a tear out of me, and you've also inspired the living hell out of me. So thank you. Good luck to you. We're all counting on you.
That's right. Well, thank you big time. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, dude.